All right, good afternoon to you. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. Time for your afternoon tropical update, and things are still fairly active for this part of the hurricane season out in the tropics. We're still in the first month of hurricane season. Of course, hurricane season runs all the way through the end of November, and we still have some systems that we're monitoring, but there's good news with Bret. Of course, it was a tropical storm. It rolled over portions of the Lesser Antilles, bringing some heavy rain, tropical storm force winds, and it has been pushing off to the west. But as of the latest advisory around 4 p.m., we're now calling Bret the remnants of Bret because it has really weakened and fallen apart, and it's basically lost its tropical characteristics. So we won't be dealing with Bret for too much longer. We also still have Tropical Storm Cindy out in the central Atlantic. That one does not appear to pose any issues for Southeast Texas as well. But here is a look at what's left of Bret. It still has 40-mile-per-hour winds. It's northwest of Curacao. You can see it there sitting in the central Caribbean, and it's moving west at 21 miles per hour, pressure at 1,007 millibars. But basically, Bret has lost that well-defined center of circulation, which you need to be considered a tropical cyclone. So that means that Bret is post-tropical. It's still got some gusty winds with it. There's still going to be a high rip current risk for anybody out there on the water close to it, but overall, we are going to be dealing with a weakening system and no longer a tropical system. But it did roll over Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique. There were tropical storm warnings there, but now it is kind of fallen apart out in the central Caribbean. So we won't have to worry about Bret for too much longer. So let's talk about Cindy. It is still a fairly healthy tropical storm with winds around 60 miles per hour, movement to the northwest at 21 miles per hour, and pressure at 1,005 millibars. It is racing pretty quickly to the northwest, so on this track, if it were to hold together, it would come very close to brushing past Bermuda, but it looks like it will likely fall apart and weaken before it would reach Bermuda. So you can see Sunday afternoon, 45-mile-per-hour winds. Monday afternoon, right around 1 p.m., down to 40-mile-per-hour winds, and it will likely be weakening and lose its tropical characteristics as well as we go through this next week. So gradual, slow weakening forecast for Cindy as it runs into an environment with higher shear, so that's going to kind of help to rip it apart a bit and weaken it. And so as it gets closer to Bermuda, it likely will not survive for too much longer after Tuesday. So we are going to be monitoring Cindy closely. It's still fairly strong right now with 60-mile-per-hour winds, but it's not coming anywhere near Southeast Texas, and it certainly will not be impacting the east coast of the U.S. either, because it is expected to weaken and become post-tropical before that. But of course, it is still officially hurricane season, and we are monitoring other areas out there. Of course, typical areas for development include much of the Gulf of Mexico, also central western portions of the Caribbean. But at this point, things are quiet right now. We've got Bret in the central Caribbean, but of course, it has become post-tropical, losing its tropical characteristics. Also, we really closely monitor the western sections of the Atlantic, but so far, we've had quite a bit of activity coming off the coast of Africa. That's typically what you would see around August or September, which is the peak of hurricane season, because the waters out there are so unusually warm. We've got those sea surface temps feeling like bath water out there in the middle 80s for a big chunk of the Gulf of Mexico, middle 80s as well for much of the Caribbean, and very warm waters stretching out into the Atlantic. So that's why we've had so much development. But fortunately, these systems are not really blowing up and becoming super strong, but we do still have 3 named storms already: Arlene, Bret, and now Cindy. So if we do get another tropical wave develop that does become a tropical storm or hurricane, that next name would be Dawn on the list, and then it would be Emily, Franklin, and Gert. But just in the first few weeks of hurricane season, already 3 named storms. The official outlook for this season from CSU and from NOAA calling for 15 named storms from CSU, 12 to 17 named storms for the NOAA forecast. An average hurricane season would usually give us about 14 named storms, 7 of those becoming hurricanes and 3 major hurricanes. We've already had 3 named storms just in the first few weeks. So hopefully that's not an indication of how busy this hurricane season is going to be. Typically, this time of the hurricane season, it is pretty quiet usually the first couple of months, and there's the peak in August and September, but it's been kind of an anomaly where we've had quite a few systems that have popped up in the first week or two. However, hopefully things will calm down and we won't have this trend continuing throughout the entire hurricane season. But of course, if you would like to know exactly what's going on in the tropics or with the heat wave or anything else happening locally, or with the tropical weather, make sure you go to the App Store, search for Fox 26 and grab our Fox 26 weather app. You can get anything tropical weather related, heat wave related, forecast cones, our Follow Me feature, any tropical storm or hurricane watches or warnings. And of course, if you turn the alerts on, you'll be able to get all of those heat advisories, excessive heat warnings, anything else you need to know or you want to know as far as Houston weather is concerned. Well, that is what is happening in the tropics for this afternoon. At least we've gotten rid of Bret being a tropical system, but we're still going to closely monitor Cindy and any other tropical disturbances or tropical waves that may try to get going out there. All right, take care, keep cool out there, and make sure you enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade.